You got us going? Here we are, USF Tampa. You saw Tommy. Last video, he's graduating, getting married. His whole life is changing.
It's not easy to say goodbye.
It's not easy, and we get to be hanging out here, studying together, and just hanging out, enjoying each other. And so you caught the raw emotion.
That's all it
right
is.
Here.
It's just emotion. Don't be afraid of it.
All right. And we saw an emotional moment of the disciples today. We're studying John chapter 6. Yeshua comes walking on the water to the disciples who are in a boat while there's a heavy-duty storm. And we're discussing that story and the impact it had on them and stuff. So Tommy, what was God speaking to you, showing you today?
Well, tying into last week, what we just read before was, Jesus had fed the 5,000. And, it's just amazing, kind of a mountaintop moment. And just a few hours later, it's already evening time. The disciples are getting back into the boat, heading across the sea. And this storm comes up. And of course they're afraid, they're very afraid. You got the waves, you got the wind going on, and they see Jesus in the distance. And their first reaction is even more terror. And we were kind of talking about that, like, how does that happen? How do you go from being scared on a boat to seeing Jesus to be even more scared? And we're just kind of just discussing all the emotions that are going on. You have the adrenaline that's flowing through your system. You're very on edge. You're just kind of in a fight or flight situation. And then Jesus, he comes onto the boat. He stills the water. And I think it's just amazing. I think what it really shows us is just how fickle humans can be. We can have these amazing moments with God, with Yeshua, and then it can be a few minutes, a few hours, maybe 2 days later, and we're already like back in like the pit of despair. I think what God is trying to show us through that is that we have to trust Him through the good and the bad times. And whether we're graduating and we have a job lined up, or whether we just lost our job and we have no money and we're stressed out of our mind trying to make our car payment, God is there with us, and I think we just have to keep our eyes focused on Him.
It's amazing the impact, the power of emotions. You just had this great encounter with God. You think you'd be flying so strong,
right?
But yet emotion can get a hold of you. And level-headedness and just other things about you can just disappear just like that.
Yep.
And emotion can just change it. So you can sit there and think, man, I'm ready to take on the world after this mountaintop experience. But any circumstance, a situation can occur, and if an emotion grabs a hold of you, everything's up for grabs. Anything can change. So one, don't get overconfident of who you are, because emotions sometimes get the better of us. But as well, it's just incredible that Yeshua walking to you can put terror and fear in your heart. You think it'd bring joy. It's just amazing the impact of emotions, good or bad.
Yeah. And the Apostle Paul, he kind of ties it together too in one of his books when he says, I have learned to be content with much as with little. And I think, that also applies to, when things are going our way, when they're not going our way, whether that's a life or death situation or, just stress on the job. We have to, find our identity in Christ and in God and know His peace is there.
So don't be surprised when how you respond to stuff, emotions, or powerful stuff. Keep this in mind, so maybe you'll be able to protect yourself and realize that, hey, when things start happening, emotions may take control. And so maybe we can at least use that as a little forewarning to help us so that maybe it doesn't impact us as bad as it could have. And so, but it's great. What do you think? Have you had experiences where you would have thought it would have brought you great joy and comfort, but all of a sudden emotions or something else got the best of you, and you didn't respond the way you thought you were capable of responding? If you've had an experience like that and think about it, get in there in the comments section, jot us a note, share your story. We'd love to hear from you. And so, Tommy,
go Bulls.
Enjoy life, marriage, and all else that happens. But we will be back. We'll see you again soon at USF Tampa.
Shalom.